Good morning, Villa fans, and welcome to match reaction for Crystal Palace 4, Villa 1, and also a match preview for the Cardiff game on Friday. Not sure where to start with this, but first of all, 3 at the back. Here's what I think of that. Put that in the bin, mate. How'd it goes? Unai Emery getting this horribly wrong. Totally on the manager is what I would say. I mentioned on the for the Liverpool McGrath podcast when he does his team sheet tantrum that after seeing the team lineup, I didn't feel as confident as I did before the lineup was announced. Why did Unai Emery decide to change formation, to go with a back three that we've never hardly played before, to match up with Crystal Palace in the way that they play? You know, we've just come off the back of a really good second half and a really good performance against Chelsea, playing with width and wide players. Rashford from the left. I think Bailey played from the right. You know, we pinned back their fullbacks, and that's exactly what we should have done in this game, because you know that Moniz, who I mentioned, and Tyreek Mitchell are going to be, you know, the outlets for them to need to pin them back. And the way that you do that is by having your own wingers, you know, further up the pitch. Having the likes of Jacob Ramsey, Rodgers, and then, I don't even know. When I saw the lineup, I thought Bogard was going to play CDM and McGinn will play further forward. But obviously that didn't happen either. Bogard was in the back three. But having Ramsey and Rodgers is just too narrow. None of them are going to give you genuine width. None of them are going to, you know, hang wide and, you know, pin the fullbacks back. That's not their jobs. That's not what they do. So this really wasn't the game. Unai got this totally wrong from sort of start to finish, really. Back three, I mean, they were all over the shop as well. Bogard, I mean, he was playing sometimes from the left, sometimes on the right. He just seemed to be running around anywhere, you know, like a dog loose on a football pitch, basically. But it was horrible to watch. You know, Unai Emery said that we controlled the first sort of 30 minutes. Tielemans had a glancing header early on, I suppose. Ramsey's got in behind and scored, but that's rightly given offside. And then obviously Ollie Watkins given offside for the Morgan Rogers goal, but you know that is a piss take. If VAR are scrutinising it that much, literally to, and even when they drew the lines, I saw a couple of still images. They haven't even drawn the line properly from where his knee is, if that's what they're saying that is offside. So it's a farce. It's not an obvious mistake from the referee. And VAR is there to intervene if there's an obvious mistake. That was the rhetoric that we had when VAR was rolled out, not to look for reasons to cancel goals, and you know, and that was just horrendous. But again, we've fallen short of this unbelievable stat that, you know, conceding 17 times now from the first shot on target. And also a further 3 times from the first rebound. So today was obviously the rebound. But who's putting pressure on the cross coming in from Wharton? No one. Who's picking up Chris Richards, who's got the freedom of the penalty box and nobody challenging him at all? And it's supposed to be 3 centre-backs. No one. He's got a free header. Emi Martinez is not, you know, excluding from this criticism. I think he should have done better with that instead of sort of parrying it, you know, not even away. But I don't know what he was trying to do. Could he have grabbed hold of it? Could he have, you know, parried it further away or somewhere? But he's put it right into Sarr's path. And, you know, Ismaila Sarr has got this unbelievable record. And credit to the Heart of Holt podcast I listened to this morning. They've said that Ismaila Sarr has scored in every single game that he has played against Aston Villa. That's an incredible stat for either Watford or for Crystal Palace. He has scored in every single match against Aston Villa. That is incredible. And why we didn't think to kind of maybe man mark him a little bit. I mean, you've got to go with a back 4. You can't be changing it to a back 3. I think we did this last season against Spurs and got spanked 4-0 with a back 3. It just doesn't work. It causes so much confusion. You're asking Luca Dean to play as your left wing back when you know that he can't get up and down and he's never going to get to a byline. Surely Ian Martin, if you wanted to play that way, would be the more logical choice. But yeah, McGinn was in midfield. Yuri Tielemans was in midfield again. They looked tired. Morgan Rogers should have had a rest in this game, perhaps. You've got Rashford on the bench. Asensio, okay, I understand that Rashford maybe can't go 90 minutes, but you start him 45 minutes from the start. Put the fear factor into Crystal Palace. Give them something to think about. We're Aston Villa. We should be, we shouldn't be adjusting our tactics for 13th place Crystal Palace. We should go into the game on the front foot. So Rashford, for me, should have started. Whether that's starting and playing 45 minutes, an hour, and then coming off, fine. But I guarantee that he would have been much more productive in that 45 to 60 minutes than what we saw of like Jacob Ramsey and Morgan Rogers in this game. And this was a good opportunity to give Morgan Rogers that little, spell on the bench, basically. And sort of, to see how Rogers would play. Asensio scoring 2 goals. He's absolutely buzzing and full of confidence. And then you're bringing him on when we're 3-1 down, I think it was. It's like, well, what's the point? You've just killed all that confidence that he had against Chelsea. And yeah, he obviously didn't get too much in the game. And then the biggest one for me was Leon Bailey at half-time. Coming on for Andres Garcia, who I didn't think had the worst half. He's doing better than I think Luca Digne was doing. But then Bailey comes on and you think, okay, well, surely you've got to shift Lamar Bogard to right back and put Bailey back in his natural position, high and wide on the right-hand side and sort of adjust it that way. But he didn't. He continued with the back three and he put Leon Bailey as a wing back. Leon Bailey's never played wing back in his life. It was horrible watching that because Bailey just wanted to get forward and, he tried to track back a few times, but it's not his game. He's never played that position. You're asking players to play in positions that they've never played. It is crazy. It was a suicide decision from Unai Emery to change this shape. And I hope to God that that's the last that we see of him experimenting with a 3 at the back. If you wanted to go 3 at the back and wanted to try it out, then Friday against Cardiff was an opportunity to try that. Not in this game. Not against Crystal Palace, who are big, physical. They're organised. They played that 3-4-3, whatever it is, all season. I think even last season. They've got it down to a T. And then passing it out from the back, sometimes you just need to go long. I said, obviously, Sarr scored the first goal. Mateta had a chance in that first half. He swung at it and missed at it. But they were looking much more threatening than we were. And then we get it back to 1-1 early in the second half. Obviously, Robin Olsen's come on at this point. Not sure what's happened with Emery Martinez, but I pray to God that he's back in goal, at least for Tuesday against Bruges. I hope it's nothing serious and it's just precautionary. But Robin Olsen, he doesn't feel me full of confidence, even with the ball at his feet and things like that. But to give him his credit, he launched a lovely long ball up to Ollie Watkins, who wins the flick. Morgan Rogers gets his head to it first and manages to, barge his way through into the box. And then, he's sort of turned around 360 and then managed to hook it into the bottom corner. And you're thinking, yes, okay, we've got a goal back, foothold time to build on this, grow on this confidence, maybe bring on a sub, maybe bring on Rashford at this point, or even Marlon or someone else, and just change the impetus of the game. No. And you're always told as a footballer at any age, I've been coaching academies and sort of youth football, after you score, you're vulnerable. So make sure that you keep it clean for 10 minutes. No silly passes, no chance passes. Just keep it nice and simple. And if you're asking players to play passes that they're not capable of. If we had Pau Torres in our defence, yes, he can play through the lines and get passes out from defence, no problem. But you're asking someone like, I think it was Lamar Bogard, I think McGinn to Bogard. Bogard tries to play it into Ramsey. Ramsey gets his, pocket pinched. And then Palace have the ball. I think it's played from Wharton to Eze. Eze, lays it off to Mateta. And it's a lovely side foot finish from Mateta. And, this guy Mateta always seems to score a hat-trick last season in the last game of the season. Yes, that game was a dead rubber. But even said in that, it's just too easy. And that was within 10 minutes of us equalising. You've just got to keep it nice and simple. Try a channel ball. Do you know what I mean? Bogard doesn't need to try that pass into Ramsey. Doesn't have to build up from the back every single time. A channel ball once in a while is a good ball. And on that occasion, when you know Palace are going to press high, and that's what they do, that's their game, they press high, you've just got to put balls into the channel for Ollie Watkins to chase or Morgan Rogers to chase. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you play that ball and we get on the second ball, absolutely fine. But you're playing up the pitch. You're not losing possession on the edge of your box and all of a sudden, shit, there's Eze and Mateta and it's 2-1. So it's just really, really frustrating. And then Ismaila Sarr getting his second goal. I mean, how many defenders do we have back for that? How many times are we going to let Moniz cross the ball in? And nobody's near him. We're all looking around, picking up space and not marking players at all. He's managed to get a nice connection on it and guided it nicely into the corner. I'm not going to, fault Robin Olsen for that strike. I don't think he could have got near it. But where's the defending? Where's the marking? It was atrocious again. Nobody knows who's picking up who. And then the fourth goal, Eddie Nketiah. This is a man who hasn't scored a goal for Crystal Palace. Play against Aston Villa. The red carpet comes out. There's your goal. Do you know what I mean? It's typical, and it seems to have happened throughout the history of me supporting Aston Villa. Any striker going through a bad spell, you haven't scored in about 3 seasons, play against Villa, you'll score. And that's exactly what we did here. But it was just some of the decisions, the subs. And I said, Bailey, why? And him being the first sub as well, why? Where was Marlon? Marlon can't play on Tuesday. He's not even in the squad. You've signed him as a brand new permanent signing. He's almost like the juicer in my cupboard that I bought last year. I thought, that'd be a good idea. I'll, juice and have loads of juices and have, drinking more healthy and all this sort of stuff. I've used it once and it's packed away in the cupboard. We haven't used Marlon anywhere near how much we should. He should have been coming on. Why did we bring on Martson for Digne when we could have brought on Marlon? And we're chasing the game at that point as well. I mean, I'm sure Luca Digne could have played on. Didn't look like he was in any injury or discomfort. And you're chasing the goal. Obviously, at this point, it was just, not a great game. Obviously, Rashford came on and played up front. Ollie Watkins coming off as well. You're chasing the game. You need your strikers on the pitch. Rashford, he doesn't play as a striker. Do you know what I mean? He's from the left. You need to play him on the wing where you got the best out of him against Chelsea. It's not rocket science. You know what I mean? I'm getting a bit fed up of managers trying to overcomplicate things. And Unai Emery is not above criticism. He's not. Our form has been horrendous. I mean, I read somewhere it's 6 wins in the last 20 games. We're in 10th position. We're -5 goal difference, not -7, as I mentioned in my instant match reaction, but -5. Even Everton have a better goal difference than us, and Everton have been poor until David Moyes has come in. They were down in the bottom sort of 4, I think, at most of the season. And they've got a better goal difference than us. So we just keep conceding. Teams go 1-0 up against us all the time. And we're always chasing the game. So we need 2 goals to win every single game. It's not going to happen. Unai, wake up. It's not going to happen. Don't be stubborn. I don't want to see this 3 at the back again. We don't need to see it. Put it in the bin. It doesn't work. I know he is quite a stubborn manager, and we probably will see it again at some point. But at least do it with the right personnel. Do you know what I mean? If we have Pau Torres that can play out from the back, fine. I mean, you can play those sorts of that sort of formation. But it overcomplicates things. I thought McGinn was going to play further forward. I thought Bogard would be the CDM. Didn't happen, and it really, really pissed me off. Really, really pissed me off. And this whole first shot on target is becoming a nonsense. Really, it really is. It's embarrassing. What is our concentration levels not there? Are we not switched on enough from the kickoff that we can't sort of stop the first cross coming in or the first shot going in? It's an embarrassment. It absolutely is an embarrassment. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to dwell too much more on the game, but that's nearly 15 minutes of me sort of getting it off my chest, because what I saw last night was absolutely shit. Considering the players that we've got, Unai Emery got this totally, totally wrong. And if we go in with the same mentality or like this against Cardiff, let's not underestimate them. We will be getting knocked out of that cup. And then if we do the same against Bruges, we've already lost to Bruges. Cannot underestimate them as well. but we need to wake the fuck up. Really, really, really do. 10th position in the Premier League. I know it's only a couple of points off third and fourth or whatever it is, but other teams are building momentum. Brighton have overtaken us. Fulham have overtaken us. You know, these guys are on form now. Newcastle look like they're doing pretty well. So it does worry me about where we're going to sort of finish this season. And we don't play another Premier League game now. I think it's till the 8th of March against Brentford. And then after that, it's like 1st of April. So there's a massive gap. And everyone's going to have like 2 games in hand over us to, you know, make up that gap even wider. So, you know, we could be looking at the 8th of April when our sort of, or 8th of March when our next Premier League game is. And teams are 6, 7, 8 points above us. But yeah, let's think about Friday now. Cardiff City rolling into Villa Park in the FA Cup. You know, it's a chance to get to the quarterfinal. It's a chance for a trophy. You know, it depends on what kind of side of the draw we get. If we get an away tie in the quarterfinal, then I don't fancy our chances because our away record is horrendous. But Cardiff are rocking up. They sit 19th in the Championship. 8 wins, 12 draws, 14 defeats in the league, minus 15 goal difference. So if you think we've got it bad to -5, they've got it even worse. 38 points. They're 8 points above the relegation zone. They are, this is a stat for you, the joint 3rd worst defensive record in the Championship. So you've got Plymouth, then you've got Portsmouth, and then I think these guys are level with bottom placed Luton Town in terms of goals conceded, which is 55 this season. So they do leak goals. There is opportunities for us to score goals here, but we have to make sure we are at our sharpest. And I was going to say, going into this game, you know, it's a chance to rest players and get people fresh for Tuesday and all that sort of stuff. I actually want to see us go as strong as we can and win the game and win it comfortably, then bring players off, get a bit of confidence back into the legs. So I don't want to see any kind of rotation as much. I don't think we can anyway with the injuries that we've got. But Cardiff's last 5 games, 1-0 win against Hull. Callum Robinson, familiar name, scoring for them. He's got 12 goals this season. Then a 1-1 draw with Plymouth in a battle at the bottom. Yusuf Selech, their new January signing, they got 4 million. I'll come on to in a moment. And then a 1-1 draw with Bristol City. Again, Salech scoring again. Then a 2-1 defeat to Portsmouth. Callum O'Dida scoring for them. O'Dida. And then a 3-3 draw with Stoke, but they won on penalties in the previous round of the FA Cup. And you had Ruben Colwell scoring 2 goals for them. Nicely taken. He's a very tall, elegant dribbler of the ball. Very much like our own sort of Morgan Rogers, but maybe a slower version. But he's going to be a danger for them. And then Selech again. So Selech has got 3 goals in his last 5 appearances. And he joined them in January. He's been a really, really good signing for them. There are 4 goals in total in 9 appearances since his £4 million move from the Swedish Premier League, a team called Sirius. He's 23 years of age and he's 6'5". He's a massive kind of target man unit. Can run in behind as well. So yeah, he's definitely a danger man for them. Yusuf Selech. So look out for him. Anwar El Ghazi returning to Villa Park. He hasn't been a regular starter for Cardiff, so I'm not sure whether he'll be starting in this game. He hasn't sort of started the last few games, but sentiment might take over and he might get a chance to play from the start at Villa Park. Callum Robinson obviously came through the Villa Academy, best mates with Jack Grealish. He's having a good season, 12 goals in 27 appearances. He's their threat, and he plays more deeper now as well as a number 10, just behind Selech as well. So he's like their creative, dribbling kind of spark, really. But he's a player to look out for. Callum Chambers, another familiar name, playing more as a CDM for them. And he should be fit for this game. Hasn't really scored any goals, but yeah, it should be interesting to see. I said Ruben Colwell, they've got as an attacking midfield player, 5 goals and 35 appearances. But he is a danger. He's a ball carrier. He's very tall as well. Aaron Ramsey, the Arsenal ex-Arsenal midfield player, Wales international. He's actually injured for this game, so he will probably be missing. So we're not going to see Ramsey v. Ramsey. And they've also got a player called Ashford, and we've got Rashford. So he might get a start. He's a forward player. I think it's Keon Ashford, the young sort of Welsh up-and-coming kind of striker. And then they've got a player called Manswerk in their midfield, who they picked up from Ajax, who actually got sent off in our 4-0 win last season at Villa Park. So he's coming back to Villa Park. His last appearance, he got a red card. So something to look out for there in terms of players and things like that. And also talking about players and sort of the Cardiff links with Aston Villa. Obviously, we mentioned Ghazi, Chambers and Robinson. There's Peter Whittingham as well, who was a player. I think he came through the Villa Academy, played a few games for Villa, and then kind of moved on to, I think it was Cardiff, and ended up sort of spending a lot of years at Cardiff, being a really good player for them, scoring a lot of goals, especially from like set pieces, long range. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago. I think it was cancer. I'm not too sure, but I don't want to say too much about it. But I hope there's going to be some sort of tribute for Peter Whittingham from both sets of fans, really. So whether that be sort of before kickoff or maybe on the minute of his shirt number that he played under. I'm not sure which number that was. I think it was 7. But yeah, I think there should be some sort of tribute for sort of Peter Whittingham coming into this game as well. But yeah, I mean, my team lineup for this, as I said before the Crystal Palace debacle, I was going to sort of, try to rest players and things like that. I think we need to get some confidence back up in the camp again for the Bruges game on Tuesday. I think we have to start strong in this game. We had to lay down a marker. We'll go as strong as we can and then start bringing people off after 60 minutes and things like that, if of course we are winning. But I'm not underestimating this. In fact, I think Cardiff will take the lead. I've got a feeling that they're going to score from set piece or something like that. So I'm going to go with score prediction. Actually, team lineup wise, let's go with Emi Martinez. If he's back, I'm playing him. I think we need him. Right back, it's either Cash or Garcia, depending on who's fit. Disasi can't play in this game, so it's going to have to be Konsa. Mings was on the bench, so maybe he's fit enough to kind of start. Left back, I would go with Digne. In fact, no, I'll go with Martin for this one. So there will be a little bit of rotation just to give us something going forward. And then midfield, I would have said Bogard and McGinn, give Tielemans a rest perhaps, but I think we probably need McGinn and Tielemans in there. We need to go strong and bring on Bogard from the bench again. And then in front of that, this is the important part. It's got to be Rashford from the left. Has to be. I would play Daniel Marlon from the right because he can't play on Tuesday. He's got to have 90 minutes here. Play him from the right and then even put him up front later on in the game if we need to. But Marlon from the right. And then in the 10, I'm going Asensio. I'm giving Rodgers a little bit of a break for this. I don't want to run him into the ground. I feel as though Unai Emery is over-relying on Morgan Rodgers to produce the goods and continue playing 90 minutes, more or less every single game. So I'd give Rodgers a rest, and then I'll start with Ollie Watkins up front and just go for it. Just absolutely go for it. From the first minute, let's get the game won. And then make changes around that. And then you've got the likes of Ramsey, Rodgers, Bailey that can come on. And these players aren't rubbish, are they? They can come on. Bogard can come on. Digne, Garcia. So there are options on that bench. If I see Jim Oraloba in the starting lineup for this, I'm not going to be happy. This is not a game to take lightly. This is a pathway to the quarterfinal. Have to take it seriously. As I said, I think Cardiff will take the lead. Probably from the first shot on target again. But I think Villa will turn it around and win 3-1. So 3-1 Aston Villa to progress to the next round. But it's not going to be an easy game. Cardiff will give us a game. The ex-Villa players will be up for this. It wouldn't surprise me if this Salech got another goal for them. He seems like a handful. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts. Subscribe, like, comment. I was hoping to be more positive after the Crystal Palace game, but it's really knocked my positivity out. But let me know your thoughts. Look forward to sort of doing a match reaction. Probably going to be straight after the game on Friday. I'll probably jump back on and do a kind of instant match reaction. Hopefully we're celebrating getting through to the next round comfortably, no injuries, and then going into that Bruges game on Tuesday. But yeah, do like, subscribe, comment, guys. Until the next video, up the mighty Villa. Come on, boys.